you were to ask anyone where did gunpowder come from, most would say China, and they wouldn't really know the year. They'd probably say somewhere around 1000 AD. But there's a lot more to this, so we're going to look at how did this all begin. How did we get gunpowder? Well, really, it started with what most historians would say the Tang Dynasty, which was between 650 and 900 AD. And the Tang Dynasty ruled China that entire time, but after 900 AD, there was about 50 plus years that was made up of multiple kingdoms and multiple warlords ruling many different provinces all over China, and really seeing kingdoms rise and fall was very common all throughout China for more than 5 decades. However, it was around 960 AD that Zhao Qianyin dominated the northern regions of China and founded what was referred to as the Song Dynasty. And this shut down warlords and any sort of break-off kingdom and ultimately united China. Now, a lot of historians will credit gunpowder to the Tang Dynasty, but there's no records of them using gunpowder in any sort of combat situation. At the very least, it wasn't until the Song Dynasty that we first started seeing gunpowder recorded as a weapon or a propellant. And ultimately what they did was it first started with turning essentially arrows into rockets, ultimately launching off dozens, if not hundreds of rockets, all from just one container, putting essentially the power of 50 archers in the hands of one man. And this was incredibly effective, as well as increase the range of the arrows. Also, they would put explosives on the end of spears, essentially giving a much significant impact of the spears. And really, this wasn't even recorded until after 1000 AD. Also, what was discovered was the ancient Chinese recipe for gunpowder, naming it essentially as saltpeter, potassium nitrate, carbon, and sulfur. Now, saltpeter, potassium nitrate, was very well known and very well traded throughout Europe and Persia. They referred to it as Chinese snow or Chinese salt. But it was this Song Dynasty that first began to use gunpowder in a combat situation. So most are going to credit the invention of gunpowder to the Song Dynasty around 1000 AD. But you can go way back, all the way to about 620 AD, where it was the Byzantine Empire which used what they called Greek fire. Essentially, this was used to burn up other ships. Now, this wasn't exactly gunpowder, so you can't give the credit of gunpowder to the Byzantine Empire, but it was a very early combination of that, being composed of what most historians would be sulfur, rock salt, which would be your oxidizing agent, and then ashes and coal, which there's your carbon, but they also added pyrite, pine resin, quicklime, and calcium phosphide to make Greek fire. So it was really kind of then go back to that Song Dynasty around 1000 AD was the first documented, here's the recipe and here's how you use it, record of gunpowder. So there you go. There's gunpowder and how it all began. If you like this video, click like and subscribe.